This is Steve Bloom, and you are listening to the GeekCast Radio Network.
There is nothing wrong with your podcast player. Do not attempt to adjust the volume. Hello and welcome back into our studio. You are now inside Studio 2009. I'm, of course, TFG1Mike. Joining me, as always, Steve Megatron. Hello.
Hello.
And today we are continuing on with our countdowns as we count down our top 10 most rewatched live-action TV shows. I have one honorable mention only because I don't really rewatch it as much, but it still needs to be mentioned. Alf. I love Alf.
All right. We're moving on.
Oh, good old Alf. Number 10. What do you got, sir?
What do I got? Shark Tank.
Really?
Yeah. I like to go back and watch them sometimes just because it's entertaining. I can't really fathom other shows, like reality shows. That's like the only one that I go back and watch.
Next into the tank is a product to take your victories to the next level.
Hello, Sharks. My name is Matt Walsh, and I am addicted to winning.
And I'm Dax Holt, and I fully support his addiction. And we are here seeking $600,000 for 8% of our company, Trophy Smack.
Over 50 million Americans pour their hearts and souls into fantasy sports every year for a chance at victory.
Friends battle it out for months on end, smack-talking one another, investing ridiculous amounts of time and energy for the winner to walk away with what? Empty bragging rights? A generic Little League trophy?
I don't know about you, Sharks, but when I win, I want everyone to know. And that is why we created Trophy Smack, the best place to get the most unique and customizable fantasy sports trophies, blinged out rings, and over-the-top championship belts. I mean, imagine walking into your next draft party with this bad boy on your shoulder. Woo!
So it's super simple. You go to our website, you choose your sport, then your size, and your color. There are literally thousands of trophy combinations to choose from to create your very own dream trophy.
Yeah, I like a lot of the ideas, at least when they're cool. And I like some of the sharks.
I like all of them, but I like Mark Cuban the most. But
yeah.
He also I think he created radio.com or something originally.
I forget. All as I know about him is he was or still is the owner of the Dallas Mavericks basketball team. Yep. So number 10 for me is an 80s staple. It is Airwolf.
It's not a lousy helicopter, Senator. It's Airwolf.
Airwolf is a Mach 1 Plus chopper that can kick butt.
So this is the Jan Michael Vincent, Ernest Borgnine. It's the one with the helicopter. Jan Michael Vincent plays Stringfellow Hawk, and it's your standard 80s action show kind of thing. It's not a talking helicopter or anything like that. It's just a cool-ass black helicopter that they go on government missions with, and this, that, and the other thing. And the theme song is amazing. And in the fourth season, they actually switched it up because of something. I forget what it was, but they put in Barry Van Dyke as St. John Hawk, who is Stringfellow's brother. And they kind of have this whole mystery thing of where is String and what happened to String, whatever else. And years later, I would see Barry Van Dyke on a show with his father that everyone most of the time loves. Dick Van Dyke and Barry Van Dyke were the stars of Diagnosis Murder. Mark Sloan, Steve Sloan, all that stuff. So I loved watching that. But Airwolf, it was just so cool. Just a cool show.
Number 9. Whose line is it anyway?
Which version? UK or US?
I kind of consider them the same continuity because it's got Ryan and Colin in it. But yes, I realize that there's different versions.
Yeah.
I prefer the ABC Family version.
Good evening and welcome to Whose Line Is It Anyway? Tonight's performers, the man with the dirty last name, Greg Proops. He's What's for Dinner, Wayne Brady. The handsomest man in Canada, Colin Mockery. And his son, Ryan Stiles. And I'm your host, Drew Carey, and welcome to Whose Line. Come on, let's have some fun. Just use your imagination.
Yeah, the U.S. version. Yeah.
That's probably my favorite. And then the second favorite would be the British and then the CW version.
Yeah.
I'm not a fan of the CW version because every episode they bring in a guest from some CW show, and I don't care for the dynamic.
Right, yeah.
It's just something about it rubs me wrong. I don't know. It's just not as enjoyable, and so I don't know if it's because they've taken the handlebars off of it, and like ABC Family was cleaner, and they don't do some of the same skits. Like there was more variety on ABC Family and the UK version, whereas this one I feel like it's like rinse and repeat.
Yeah, rinsing and repeating is horrible. For me, my pick here is a show that Ryan Merkley and I are probably going to be reviewing at some point this year. From FX, it is what launched their original programming back in 2002, so good Lord, 20 years ago. Oh, my God. I will never forget this date, March 12th, 2002. The Shield with Michael Chiklis and Catherine Dent and Reed Diamond, Walton Goggins, Michael Jace, Kenny Johnson. I remember Michael Chiklis was on The Commish.
Viewer discretion advised. When the law protects the criminals.
You used excessive force during his arrest.
There's some hickey. Instead of the innocent.
What people want is to make it to their cars without getting mugged.
You do what it takes.
If this means some cop roughs up some guy.
What the hell? Looks like you got some kind of third nag going down there.
It's don't ask and don't tell.
Let me know where you're hiding now.
The police!
The Shield, coming this March to FX.
But when I saw him here as Vic Mackey, I'm like, ooh, and this was 2002. So 3 years later, he would become the Thing, Ben Grimm, in the Fantastic Four films that they did. But I love it. This is one of those cop drama shows that it is the grittiest cop drama show that TV has ever seen. Miami Vice ain't got nothing on this show because in the pilot episode, they are chasing this drug dealer, drug mule, drug something. And the dude is just like trying to ingest the drugs as he's running from the cops. So he goes to hide it. They corner him. They search him. And then Vic's like, which is Michael Chiklis' character, Vic's like, yeah, I know where it is. Kicks him right in the balls. Like, seriously, if it's got to be the grittiest cop show ever on TV, and I just absolutely love it. I love it for the characters. I love it for the music. It is a Sean Ryan show. Sean Ryan did a bunch of stuff on Nash Bridges, writing on that show for a while, and Nash Bridges is another one of my favorites. It'll come up later in this countdown. But absolutely love The Shield. Man, that anniversary is in a couple of months, so yeah. Number 8, sir, what do you got?
I have Boy Meets World.
Who? What? They want you to take the roles!
For obvious reasons.
Uh-huh.
You know, could have something to do with the fact we've been watching it.
Yes, we have.
Yeah, I don't know. There's just a lot to love about that show, and the fact that it's so not only nostalgic for that era that it was out, but it's also just a lot of good lessons and, you know, things that kids dealt with. Whereas I feel nowadays it's kind of watered down or trying to placate to too many things instead of just kind of touching on what some of it is.
Yeah. Yeah, I love Boy Meets World. Boy Meets World is awesome. And yes, we are watching it because we're going through and finishing off Podcaster Meets World, our Boy and Girl Meets World podcast. So that's that. We're currently up to season 4 now of Boy Meets World. All right, for my pick at this position, I have got sadly, a web series that really didn't, it got 2 seasons. I guess that's okay, but, it is what it is. So there's this thing called Awesomeness TV. There used to be this app called Go90. I think it was an app on a website.
That's where that's where the Machinima series was.
Yep. So from Awesomeness TV, it actually started as a book series by AJ Betts. It's called Zach and Mia.
My life plans were a carefully calculated equation. What I couldn't have planned for is what we mathematicians refer to as an unknown variable.
Your test came back positive for non-Hodgkin's lymphoma. You have cancer, Zach.
You got a new neighbor? She's already driving Vinny nuts.
So, this is all you brought?
I'm not here to get comfortable. I'm just here to get treatment for my lame leg drama. She is so not your type.
You never know, man. She might have a weird fetish for Voldemort.
You're not an old dude.
Sorry to disappoint. You banged?
What are you doing now?
I'm just sitting on my toilet talking to this random girl. Baller stuff.
When was the last time you did something impulsive?
You like ice cream, right?
Are you asking me on a date?
Are you saying yes? Do you notice anything off on her page? There's no mention of cancer anywhere.
Just because cancer infects your body, it doesn't mean it has to infect your social media friends.
She has created a fake alibi. You have a ton of friends, and you're lying to every one of them.
At least I haven't forgotten about who I am. You've abandoned your old life, everybody used to care about, everything that makes you you.
You know, she hasn't had one visitor, not one person to take care of her. You will get better.
What about you? Will you get better?
We grow when we're in pain, or we continue to stay small.
I wish I could help.
You're not! Do you know how impossibly hard it is to love a sick person?
You're strong, Zach. You can beat this.
Everybody handles the hard stuff differently. You're not the first person to go through this. You're not the last. There's still time left for you to shine.
I'm not alone.
And I just love it. Stars Ann Winters plays Mia, and Kean Lawley plays Zach. It's another one of these TV shows that, even though it's got some it's about cancer kids kind of thing. Like, he has cancer, she has she's gonna end up getting, her leg amputated because it's cancer. There's cancer in her leg kind of thing. So it's kind of a dark thing, but it also is one of those things where it's got a little bit of hope. It's got a little bit of this, that, and the other thing in it, and I just love the two of them and the acting in it, and it's just a fun. Like one-on-one kind of television show between two characters. Number 7 for you, sir.
Last Man Standing. Because I like the antics. I like Tim Allen. And it's the last show he did that was on TV.
Yep.
And it got canceled and came back.
Yep. It's one of those shows.
To infinity and beyond.
Bruce teaches sensitivity and tolerance.
I just don't think your kid should go to that school. You know how that ends up. Boyd dancing on a float.
And what would be so wrong with that?
The only time men should be dancing is when other men are shooting at their feet.
Are you going to meddle up until the day you die?
And beyond.
Yeah, I like Last Man Standing. It was funny.
I love the jokes, and I love the poking fun at politics.
Where it kind of lost me was, and you'll be able to tell me this more than anybody else, I forget, it's either between season 1 and season 2 or season 2 and season 3. They switched the actresses on the oldest daughter.
Oh, that was first to second.
Okay, yeah, but anyway, they switched actresses on one of the characters, and I'm like, no, don't do that. No.
Well, they not only did that, but they switched the actor for the boyfriend, the ex-boyfriend too.
Oh, jeez.
for the first season to the second because it was a Jonas brother, and then they changed it to somebody else, and then
oh Lord,
then they kept those two actors through the end, but the middle daughter changed.
She changed too, really?
Yeah, she changed after it got canceled and it came back because there was a conflict of scheduling. And so they went with a different chick who quite honestly fit the look and the act better of the family dynamic.
Right.
But at the same time, like I liked the previous actress more. I just found her less irritating. Like I think she played like dumb better in a sense, like like she believed it.
Yeah.
And whereas the new one was like obviously dumb. Like unjoke dumb.
Yep. Good Lord. It was always so funny to me with that show, at least in the beginning, and I don't know if this happened throughout the entire series because I didn't watch the entire series. But at least in the beginning, various lines from other things that he did would come up. Like, I think it was in the first season where, you know, his Buzz Lightyear quote came to infinity and beyond, you know, all that and everything else. And
yeah.
I like watching highlights of that show because a couple of the highlights, like they did a whole home improvement kind of thing with it, I believe, didn't they?
Yeah, they did a lot of jokes.
Yeah.
They did some home improvement jokes too.
They did, but there was at least one episode where Patricia What's-Her-Nuts Heaton shows up.
Yeah, it was more than one. There was like two.
Yeah.
There was even an episode where Tim Allen played Tim Taylor.
Yep.
Had to go opposite of Mike Baxter, and he grayed, and he's like, I'm divorced, and
yeah, I love that. That was
he's
awesome.
like, I had a neighbor called Wilson, and
he had a fence. Yep.
Yeah, he had a fence, and
absolutely.
And then they had to play like they didn't like each other, even though it was the same guy.
Yep. Pretty much, yeah. For me, at this number, I have got another show that sadly only got one season, but it was able to make a full circle. It was a very short-lived show on Fox called Red Band Society.
Please hold it. I'm late.
Doesn't mean I should be too.
Did you even brush your teeth this morning? Because your breath smells like toenails.
I see they got your name right. Wasn't sure he could spell scary without adding an E, but he managed.
Seriously? We thought this was the new physical therapy room.
If you're gonna lie, lie well.
So what's his deal? Is he dead?
He is in a coma.
You don't mind if I smoke, do you, coma boy?
You gotta wonder what I did to deserve this. Yeah, this is me talking to you from a coma. Deal with it.
Her roommate? It's not just them, it's their parents, their grandparents.
You're not gonna have to worry about that.
So what, he must be a total loser.
This is your new roommate, Leo Roth. Leo, this is Jordy Palacios.
I have cancer in my leg. Dr. McCann just taking it off tomorrow.
You're gonna get through it.
It's easy for you to say.
Not really.
But look at you two, all matchy-matchy with your Hot Wheels.
Here's the weird thing about a hospital.
Hey.
You become friends with kids that you'd never know in a million years.
Are you gonna eat your lunch?
What kind of question is that?
I have cigarettes and diet pills if you get hungry.
I don't smoke, drink, or do drugs.
So unhealthy, right? Not like starving yourself.
I have a problem with my leg. It's gotta go tomorrow.
Would you get to keep it?
Yeah, I'm planning to freeze it.
Like wedding cake.
I need some help down here. Can you hear me?
She needs to be wearing a heart monitor.
Assuming she has one.
Hello? I can hear you.
I know, baby.
Does it hurt?
It does hurt, but not the way you think it will.
I won't be me anymore.
Your body isn't you, your soul is you, and they can never cut into your soul.
We drug tested her,
amphetamines, nicotine, cocaine, marijuana, and that is going to put her at the bottom of the waiting list for a heart.
Can we dance? It might be a while before I get to it again.
We few, we happy few, we band of brothers. For he today that sheds his blood with me shall be my brother.
Everyone thinks that when you go to a hospital, life stops.
Can I do something?
Sure.
But it's just the opposite. Life starts.
Don't ask me why, folks, that I like some of these things, but I just do. Again, it's one of those medical drama shows, takes place in a hospital. It's about these kids who, have various illnesses and things like that. Octavia Spencer is one of the stars in it, and she is just amazing in it. But it basically revolves around this kid, Charlie, who's been in a coma for all this time, and this new girl comes in, and blah, 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 and all this and all that. And I just absolutely, I thought it was great. I thought it was a fun little show that showed you how everyone's life is different, and because we are all different doesn't mean we can't be friends for whatever reason, just because, I don't have a hand that works as well as everybody, my right hand doesn't work as well as everyone else's does. So what? We can still be friends.
Mm-hmm.
You got it, number 6, sir.
Well, let's see. Star Trek, the original series.
Please tell me number 5 and number 4 are not TNG and Deep Space Nine.
No.
Space, the final frontier. These are the voyages of the starship Enterprise. Its 5-year mission, to explore strange new worlds, to seek out new life and new civilizations, to boldly go where no man has gone before.
But the original series I put here only because it's the most campy. Yes, there's a lot of good episodes, but there's just as many bad episodes that don't deem rewatching. Now, I love the character interactions. I love them more when they got to the live action films.
Yep.
And when they guest starred in TNG stuff. But beyond that, I didn't care for much of the original series, just looking back now. So, but yeah, I had to list it because I do watch it quite frequently, all of them.
Very cool, very cool. For me, it is the cop drama from TNT, Rizzoli Isles. It's actually it's not a crossover, but it's following an actress from one show to another show. Sasha Alexander, who plays Dr. Isles in this, was originally Kate on NCIS.
That's sarcasm.
Using irony to convey contempt?
Are you trying to drive me crazy?
No. What did I say? I will poke you in your scar tissue if you even touch the up arrow.
What's the most common ailment? Your fun facts? Okay, so while you guys are figuring that out, it's not funny, Maura. It's no.
Are you hearing voices too?
Yes. I have a know-it-all in my ear. Okay, we'll throw you both a parade later. Oh my God, I'm so excited. I might need a paper bag. No, I hate it when we like the same guy. No longer. What?
You look like you slipped under an overpass.
How are you still single?
That was awkward.
You think? Shut up.
Excuse me?
Not you. Well, what is it then, Dr. Smarty Pants?
We're best friends.
Yes, but I'm interesting.
You're ruining a national pastime. Let go. Let go.
Look, I brought you presents.
For me, this has Angie Harmon as Jane Rizzoli. It has Lorraine Bracco as her mother. It has Bruce McGill as one of the other guys. It has the late, great Lee Thompson Young as Barry Frost. For those that don't know, Lee Thompson Young took his life a number of years ago while the show was still airing. So they had to work around the story because he killed himself. And I'm not trying to bring everybody down with that. I'm just saying that's the facts of the show's history. But the show itself it's set in Boston. It's Boston PD. It's Boston this, Boston that. Hello. I'm from Massachusetts originally, and of course I'm going to love this. And anything Angie Harmon is in, I've absolutely adored. She was the voice of Barbara Gordon in Return of the Joker because I guess Stockard Channing wasn't available or whatever else.
Arkham.
The asylum had been moved to a newer high-security building. The old building had been partially demolished and hung open like a rotting wound.
And I love her old Barbara. So good in Batman Beyond Return of the Joker. This show, like I said, it's a cop procedural, but there aren't, like, I can count on my hand how many cop procedurals that are done in Boston. There aren't many, and this is just one of them, and it is just so fun. All right, sir, what do you got at number 5?
I have Star Trek Enterprise.
Before Janeway and Picard. Before Spock and Kirk. The Star Trek saga began. Enterprise. This fall on UPN.
And I have this because it's the earliest prequel series that they've done to date, and it covers a lot of ground and kind of builds upon of how everything is built. And even in the J.J. Abrams garbage films, this is the only thing that wasn't retconned when they did it. So I very much still originally I hated this film or this series. I could not stand it because I was irritated with some of the decisions made, but looking at what they've done with recent series, I have a new appreciation for it.
Take your Vulcan cynicism and bury it.
Very cool, very cool. Yeah, this is the Scott Bakula series, right?
Yes.
Yeah, I
had a hard time with it initially, just on a variety of fronts, but then looking back at it because of how terrible the some of the new stuff is with Discovery.
Mm-hmm.
I so much prefer this over some of the new stuff.
I don't know. I'm not much of I'm a casual Trekkie at best. I would love to be able to just take a 90-day sabbatical from everything. Like, not like if I'm really going to invest in, say, TNG, and I remember watching TNG when I was a kid. I don't ever remember like being super, like I wasn't running around with, a fake, water pistol pretending it was a phaser, whatever.
Oh, I had the phasers.
Well, you're the Trekkie of the two of us.
Yeah, well, so. They also are re-releasing a lot of this stuff with Playmates.
Right. But my point is, if I was going to like really do a deep dive on, say, Next Generation, because honestly, I can't stand TOS. My dad used to watch that all the time on the.
It's acquired. It's an acquired taste.
Oh God, it's so 60s television.
Oh yeah, it totally is. Like,
not that that's a bad thing, but it's just tastes and whatever else. But my point is, if I was really going to dive into, say, TNG or Deep Space Nine or something like that, I would need to basically take a 3-month break from everything and do nothing but watch those shows. Like, marathon them the whole way through kind of thing. Of course, with how I usually marathon stuff, what does TNG have, 7 seasons?
Yeah. So does Deep Space Nine and so does Voyager.
Yeah, I could probably do TNG and Deep Space Nine within maybe a month and a half.
I could even tell you the episodes to skip.
Well, but I mean, that's the point, though. If you're going to do a marathon, you have to watch the horrible ones with the good ones.
Yeah, that's true.
Especially with someone who hasn't seen it in 30-something, 40-something years. For me, at this position, I have got the USA Network original series created by Jeff Easton. It is called White Collar. It stars Matthew Bomer. It stars the late, great Willie Garson.
Wait! When you're stumped by the toughest case of your FBI career, you call on the one man in the world who can help you solve it. Even if that man lives here.
I'll help you catch him.
Even if you're the one who put him there.
We're onto something here, Al.
So I won't wait up.
You understand how this works?
I'm being released into the custody of the FBI under your supervision. Anything I'm missing?
If you run and I catch you, you're back here for good.
Meet world-class con artists.
You'll be here when I get back?
Where else am I gonna go?
White-collar thief.
This is the start of those something-for-nothing schemes that got you locked up.
And flirt.
Nice hat.
Neil Caffrey.
What's it worth if I tell you what this is?
To solve the hardest crime.
It's a forgery. You know the worst thing about art forgery? You can't take credit for your work.
Hire the smartest criminal.
I'm a smart guy.
He's good. Maybe as good as you.
Guess you figured it out. Everybody, come on! This is what he's after.
Good. This is good.
Tiffany Thiessen.
To your food.
Willie Garson.
The light's how they find you, man.
Tim DeKay.
Interesting theory.
And Matt Bomer.
You stop with a hat?
White collar.
Getting close. Very close.
So you got nothing?
Nothing.
A new original series coming this fall, only on USA. Characters welcome.
I think it's cute.
I think it's adorable.
I'm putting you back in prison.
White Collar is based on Neil Caffrey. It also stars Tim DeKay. It actually also stars another one of our favorites, all grown up. Tiffany Amber Thiessen plays Elizabeth Burke, who is Tim DeKay's character's wife. So it's got Kelly Kapowski in it. But basically, White Collar is Neil Caffrey, Bond forger. It's another one of those procedurals, but it's slightly different. Think of what's that one show everybody loves? Dexter. Mm-hmm. Like he's a serial killer, but he's also helping the cops or whatever the hell Dexter. I forget what the hell Dexter is, but anyway, it's along those kind of lines where Neil is this Bond forger criminal guy, and it's just it's one of the more fun police procedural type shows, and it's got Marsha Thomason in it, who I remember from Las Vegas, which was a short-lived NBC show, and it's just a lot of fun. And Willie Garson, that guy, oh man, another one that is just gone too soon, but he plays a character named Mozzie, and he's one of these, like, you know, I don't want to say government spook like Freddy types, but he's one of those, he's a government spook conspiracy nut kind of guy, but he's so endearing and so fun. And in one of the episodes close to the end of the series, we find out his origin and all this and all that and everything else, and Winston Zeddemore shows up. Ernie Hudson shows up as his foster father, and it's just so fun. It's just a fun little show, and it's different because, like I said, Neil is a forger, bonds, art, whatever, and just so good, so fun, so awesome. Number 4, what do you got, sir?
I have the Orville.
Ed, have a seat. I have good news. There's a ship available, the USS Orville.
Ever since I was a kid, I have wanted to serve on an exploratory vessel.
You're nobody's first choice for this job, but we have 3,000 ships to staff, and we need captains.
Can I have one of these mints?
Those are marbles. We're giving you one last chance.
I just want to say I am thrilled to be your new captain. I want this to be an efficient ship, but also one that you're glad to be serving on. Lieutenant Commander Bordas, your entire species is male, isn't it?
That is correct, sir.
Probably not a lot of arguments about leaving the toilet seat up and that kind of thing, right?
Mocklins urinate only once per year.
Really? I'm up 2-3 times a night.
That is unfortunate.
It is. Time to meet the locals. Hi, I'm Captain Ed Mercer. Holy crap! We don't mean your family any harm.
Well, we did just shoot his dad.
Aside from shooting your dad, we don't mean your family any harm.
Captain, there's a message coming in from Admiral Halsey. It says that an executive officer has become available.
No. No. Oh, crap. Sorry, man. You okay?
Yeah, it's all good, man. You okay?
Yeah, all good. Sorry.
All right, no worries.
The captain does not appear to be pleased at the arrival of his first officer.
They were married.
No way.
You know how many times I tried to talk to you, but you weren't hearing me, or you weren't around at all, but I did try. I was the one who suggested couples counseling.
The therapist was your brother-in-law.
This should be a really fun trip for all of us.
Perhaps we should not be talking about this.
Oh, no. We're talking about this. This is a thing. You'll be delivering supplies to the science station on Epsilon 2.
Thank you for coming. We need protection. Protection from what?
The krill. We have figured out a way to manipulate the speed of events.
So, it's an anti-banana ray.
It's really interesting.
We need no longer fear the banana.
Does it work on all fruit?
What about salads?
You do realize this could be used as a weapon.
That's why you're here.
Orders to Captain Mercer. Just detected a Krill destroyer entering orbit.
Door's jammed.
Alara, you want to open this jar of pickles for me? I loosened it for you.
Return fire.
Give me the device, or I will destroy your ship.
Sorry, can you move like 2 steps to your right? It's just a lot of dead space there. Just perfect. Yeah, sorry, you were just very weirdly framed.
What?
What is that? Is that a beer?
Yeah, I'm nervous. It's a new ship. I want to make a good impression.
It's 9:15 in the morning.
Ah, yes.
It's TNG Light.
Yes, it is.
Yeah, I enjoy it. The first like couple episodes, it's very Seth MacFarlane. Like it's very hard to stomach. But that being said, you get past that point, and it's rather enjoyable.
Yeah.
And it kind of, I mean, it's run by guys that have been involved with Star Trek before. It's got a lot of cast that come back and reprise as different characters, or not reprise, but just play new characters. And they, you can just tell they have fun with it, but it has a very TNG vibe to it with just even their casting. They have, a lot of similarities. They have the android, officer. They have the kind of alien Klingon type officer. They have, various other people that they have the chief engineer who's African American, and so I mean, you get like a variety of the similar tropes that are in TNG. In Orville, and then I love the how they kind of press things differently and kind of conquer things that are in society nowadays, like in their one-off episodes. Yes, they have some that kind of touch on a previous one, but they're not serialized, which I love about it.
Yeah, that was very, very cool. For me, coming in at this number is one of my all-time favorite shows. It is not my number one because my TV watching habits have changed since years and years ago. Coming in at number 4 is the talking car, sir. That's right, Knight Rider is coming in at number 4. And it kind of pains me to put it at number 4, but like you were saying with TNG, where you could show me the good episodes to watch or show me the ones to skip kind of thing, the bad ones to skip.
How you doing, pal?
I ain't your pal.
You just said ain't? You must be sick.
Now, when I was a kid in the 80s, I was 2 when Knight Rider premiered in September of 82. Oh my God, that show is 40 years old this year. Beyond the Night, here I come. Anyway, I was 2. By the time I actually got to understand it and watch the show, it was in syndication reruns, and by 80, because it ended in 86. So from 86 to 90, I was watching all the reruns and the whatevers. And now when I go and watch it back, I only watch certain favorite episodes. I don't watch all of the episodes together. And recently, just because I've been thinking about some Knight Rider stuff, I actually went through and rewatched all of my favorite episodes. So yeah, Knight Rider is at number 4 for me. What do you got for number 3, sir?
Star Trek Voyager. Yes, you can tell where the rest of this countdown's going.
Where? Okay, I asked you, and you said no. You liar.
What?
Fucking liar. I asked you, are all the rest of these going to be TNG and DS9 and this, that?
Well, you said if they were going. You said if the next one was going to be.
Whatever, but yeah, okay. So
yes, I already had these ahead of time. It was the back half of the 10 that I had to discover. Right. The thing I like about Voyagers, they're kind of on their own. It's a different type of Star Trek series. It's away from the serialized again, like what DS9 ended up going into. And I liked the different ship, the fact that they had to cobble things. I liked the dynamic of the crew. They were very different.
That's Voyager. Intrepid class, sustainable cruise velocity of warp factor 9.975. 15 decks, crew complement of 141. bioneural circuitry.
There were some similarities with other shows, but then they had a lot of crossovers. They had like Riker show up in an episode. They had Q show up in 4. They had Sulu show up in a flashback episode on the Excelsior. They had the Borg Queen show back up. They had a lot of time travel stuff, which was really good every time it showed up. And yeah, I mean, it was a lot of different ground. Plus, it covered the Borg a lot more heavily than any other series.
Wasn't 7 of 9 in Voyager?
Yes, she came in season 4.
Okay. I think that's the only thing I remember about that show besides some of the guest appearances with Kate Mulgrew's captain, whatever her captain name is.
Janeway.
Yeah, Janeway. I remember watching some of Voyager.
The funny thing is, I didn't watch a lot of it until after I became an adult and I had access to it, because when I was a kid, and I think I was a teenager at the time that this was coming out, and I just kind of lost interest. Like the first 2 seasons were kind of a slow burn.
Yeah. So this show, wow. Oh, wow. Okay. The original run was January 16th of 95 to May 23rd of 2001.
Yeah.
Wow. I didn't realize it was that old. Okay. Because I was, between 15 and 21 when this show was on. So somewhere, I want to say around 97 or 98. So probably right around the time that Jerry Ryan was coming on as 7 of 9 is when I started noticing the show, because Jerry Ryan's just amazing. And the funny thing is that I also remember her as a teacher on another show, a show that is not on my countdown because it's not streaming anywhere to my knowledge, which really sucks. But she was in Boston Public, which ran from 2000 to 2004 on Fox. This was with Chi McBride and Anthony Held and Nikki Katt and Thomas McCarthy, Loretta Devine. Michael Rappaport was also in this, but it was basically about a Boston public school kind of thing. So Jerry Ryan was one of the teachers on there. So yeah, no, I think after I started watching Voyager, the episodes that I did catch, I got so sick of the Borg. Like, the Borg to me in Star Trek is how you feel about Unicron now in Transformers. Like, do something else.
Yeah, I feel the same way.
All right, coming in at this number for me is the show I mentioned earlier, and the only reason why I don't rewatch it more is because I currently don't have it on streaming, and I'm hoping to get the Blu-ray set for my birthday this year in February. It is Nash Bridges from CBS Studios, ran from 1996 to 2001.
Hey, don't bother me. I'm having phone sex.
Well, I sit at home and watch Jerry Springer when I can see this stuff live.
Starring Don Johnson, Cheech Marin, Jeff Perry, a bunch of other people.
Uh-huh. Now turn around.
Nash Bridges.
Jake? What happened to your hair, man?
I shaved it off, Dominguez. What happened to yours?
I missed a couple payments. You working?
What else? Who are you guys?
We're with the gas company. Cops.
He's a cop?
Oh, you failed to identify yourself, huh?
I was busy.
I bet.
I want him arrested for assault and battery and breaking and entering.
Well, let's just talk about you first. What do you say, Daryl? You know, attempting suicide's a crime. Now, you see, Daryl, if we arrest you, we're obligated to search this place.
Basically, it's another cop procedural show. It's set in San Francisco. It's about this guy that Don plays called Nash Bridges. He's one of those. It's kind, again, like I said earlier about The Shield with Vic Mackey. You know, Michael Chiklis playing Vic Mackey. it's that kind of character, but not as hardcore as Vic Mackey is. He's one of those maverick cops, but he doesn't go so far over the line kind of thing. And I love this show because I was a kid, like I was young when Miami Vice came out in 1984, and I kind of paid attention to Miami Vice, but Miami Vice was like Knight Rider, not so bad for a 6-7-year-old in 1986, 1987. Not so bad. It's a talking car. It's got some violence in it, but it's not so bad. Miami Vice, dealing with boats and drug dealers and the drug scene, that's a little different. I remember watching Miami Vice, but I was never really that super invested into it. But this show, 1996, I believe Chuck Norris and Clarence Gilliard, who was in Die Hard. He was the computer guy in Die Hard. They were doing Walker, Texas Ranger, so it was like right around that time of that thing with CBS doing the action Friday night shows, and I love the characters. I love the action in it. I love the moments in it. It's an episode where they're trying, because Nash and Joe are cops. They also have a side gig of a detective agency to, obviously supplement the income and whatever else. So they get this detective agency gig, and they're trying to help Nash's father, Nick, because his baseball team's player was going to get deported. And the guest star, it was baseball and basketball combined in this episode. I believe it was Jose Canseco as the baseball player, and so INS is coming in and the FBI and everything else, and one of the FBI agents is significantly taller than the other one. It's Carl flippin' Malone. So at one point in the scene, Nash looks up at Carl Malone, reaches over, gets a stool, starts standing on the stool, and just starts yelling at him, "Look, last time I checked, this was a sanctuary city, so unless you gentlemen have a warrant and blah, 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 blah." And Carl Malone just looks at him, smiles, and he's like, "Bridges, you lucky I like you, because I don't want to have to knock a man off his stool," or something or like that. And it's like, it's just hilarious. It's a funny cop drama show, and it's got so many good episodes. It's got a lot of action and a lot of fun. All right, number 2. What came in second place on your countdown, sir?
Star Trek Deep Space Nine.
On Earth, there is no poverty, no crime, no war. You look out the window of Starfleet headquarters and you see paradise. Well, it's easy to be a saint in paradise. But we do not live in paradise. Out there, all the problems haven't been solved yet. Out there are no saints. Just people. Angry, scared, determined people who are going to do whatever it takes to survive.
They'll never succeed as long as they value their lives more than victory.
A true victory is to make your enemies see they were wrong to oppose you in the first place. To force them to acknowledge your greatness. Victory is life! Victory is
Who are you?
Victory is life!
Victory is life!
Victory is life!
The Dominion.
If the Dominion comes through the wormhole, the first battle will be fought here. And whoever controls Deep Space Nine controls the wormhole.
You're the commander of Deep Space Nine. And the emissary to the prophets, decorated combat officer, widower, father of mentor. And oh yes, the man who started the war with the Dominion.
I'm Captain Benjamin Sisko.
So TNG is going to be number 1.
Yeah, how'd you figure? There's only one left.
There's only one left. I mean, because you're not going to list Discovery.
No. I'm not going to list Picard either.
All right.
Now, when Strange New Worlds comes out, you never know.
Yeah, you never know. All right, Deep Space Nine. Why does it hit number 2 for you?
I honestly, this was another one of those series where I hated the first 2 seasons. Like, absolutely could not stand it. and then they went with the Dominion War route, and then they promoted Cisco, and then everything got better when they added the Defiant and added Worf, which basically took place after the Enterprise D was destroyed in Generations, and Worf came over to Deep Space Nine for a while, got promoted, got a command level shirt. So
very cool.
Yeah, I really liked it once they got going on it, but initially it was painful.
Yeah. Yeah, I like Deep Space Nine as well. I remember when that came out. And I liked Cisco.
Oh, I did too. He didn't take nonsense from anyone.
I thought he was cool.
Yeah.
Out of all of the captains, between Kirk and Picard and Cisco and Janeway, out of the four of them, Cisco is easily the coolest of them all as far as his style, his swagger. There are moments where Picard has his moments, but for me on TNG it was more about Geordi and Worf and other things, but it is what it is. Deep Space Nine was always fun. Again, I'm. Why do you do this to me? You've got my gears. Yeah, you've got my gears in my head rolling around because I believe both of these are still on Netflix.
No, they're not.
Oh, they're not?
They pulled all of the Star Trek series from Netflix, Hulu, and Amazon, and they're exclusively on CBS Paramount Plus now.
Oh.
Yeah, they pulled that stunt 2 weeks into January.
Well, wait a minute. It still lists DS9.
On where?
On Netflix. I'm actually playing the first episode right now. Okay. Alrighty then. Yeah, I still have it in my queue, and the same thing with TNG. It's still here. Those two anyway are still here. I don't know about whatever else, other things, but anyway, my second most watched television show. This kind of transitions into the fact that I don't watch TV like I used to. I mainly use TV for background noise or to get clips for podcasts or whatever. But it is the 2005, what do they classify it as? It is a American crime drama television series. Go figure. It's from CBS, ran from 2005 to 2010. It is Numbers, which stars Rob Morrow, David Krumholtz, Judd Hirsch, Almy Ballard, Sabrina Lloyd, Dylan Bruno, Diane Farr. So everybody that has ever listened to the sound of my voice in the last 13, 14 years knows that I am not a math guy. I can't stand math whatsoever. It's just not my thing. Yet this show breaks it down to where even I can understand it and enjoy it.
Numbers don't lie.
Charlie Epps, guy who catches criminals without a gun.
He's a mathematician. They have their own language.
By using hierarchical network graphs in combination with Poisson clumping, we can work our way backwards.
You know what he's talking about?
Maybe I could use a voxel-based 3D capture.
Translation?
It's kind of like herding cattle. The water in your house. A fireworks display. Football. Dominoes. Pool table.
The table is the office, the balls, the people in it.
Okay.
All right, Troy. What do you got?
These are the data points that I use to triangulate the suspect's location. This will allow you far more efficient use of manpower.
FBI, open that door now!
All right, Charlie, where are we at?
Just pull out the cable.
All right, Charlie, I'm programming in the time right now. Just hang on. It didn't detonate.
Congratulations.
It's a hell of an equation, Charlie.
Get caught up in Numbers.
So the basic premise of Numbers is you have Don Epps, you have Charlie Epps. Don Epps is played by Rob Morrow. He's the FBI agent. Charlie Epps is played by David Krumholtz, a.k.a. Bernard from the Santa Claus. And he plays the professor, the professor at UCLA, or not UCLA. Where is he a professor at? It's Anyway, so he's a professor of mathematics and whatever else, and just the way that he brings math into solving crime, it was just so interesting and whatever. And I've always loved Judd Hirsch. Again, going back to my mom would show me anything. I remember in the mid-'80s, from the time I was 7 to 9, I was watching reruns of Taxi, and Judd Hirsch is on Taxi. And you know Judd Hirsch. He was Jeff Goldblum's dad on Independence Day, the Independence Day film. So, I love this guy. So all of these actors are really great, actors and actresses. Absolutely love them. Such a fun series. It got 6 seasons. I wish it had more, but it was just a fun way. Is it a police procedural crime drama television show? Yes. But again, just like The Shield or just like Nash Bridges or just like whatever, this looks at things completely different because it's applying logic to solving crimes, and it's just really, really cool. What is your number one most rewatched television show, sir?
Star Trek The Next Generation, which it and Deep Space Nine are actually still on Netflix, but the rest of them are gone.
That's what I just said.
Yeah, those are the only 2 left, but for how long, I don't know, because they've already made known that they want to gut it from everywhere else.
Star Trek The Next Generation is beaming aboard the airwaves. All the wonder, the excitement, the drama of Gene Roddenberry's original Space Odyssey.
Welcome to the Enterprise.
With all-new adventures from the 24th century. With an all-new Enterprise.
This is nothing like any vessel I've seen before.
And an all-new crew. Starfleet veteran Captain Picard, Commander Riker, Executive Officer, Chief Medical Officer Crusher, and her brilliant son, Wesley, Lieutenant Commander Data, an android, the telepathic Troy, Security Officer Yar, Geordi, a man with unique vision, and Klingon Officer Worf.
Shields and deflectors up, sir.
Go to yellow alert.
Their continuing mission to boldly go where no one has gone before.
Let's see what's out there.
Don't miss the all-new television adventures of Star Trek The Next Generation.
Well, I guess I know what I'm doing for the next month and a half.
Watching Trek.
Yep. All right, so what did you... Oh, TNG.
Yes.
Why is TNG your number one?
Because I grew up with it. That was the major one. Like, that was the one we watched every Sunday night when it aired at 7 p.m. We'd watch it every week. And, that was kind of my go-to, like my thing to watch. And I resonated with a lot of the characters, just enjoyed them. And as they evolved throughout the 7 seasons and then through the 4 films, a lot of good stories, a lot of social, political dynamics that were playing out at the time and kind of still are taken into consideration.
Yeah. It always surprised me with Next Generation how well they did with the character arcs that they did have. Because how many are on that crew? Just the main stars. What is it?
7.
Like 7 of them? Okay, so there's 7 of them. Like, the split between them all and how each of them got their own focuses and whatever else. And again, like I've said in this whole episode of the podcast, I'm going to go back and try to rediscover it. And I don't know how I'm not going to be able to see adult Will Wheaton's head on kid Will Wheaton. Ugh. Big Bang Theory. Anyway, and no, Big Bang Theory is not my number one. Because I don't even remember the last time I watched an episode of Big Bang. Anyway.
People are simple, and murder is simple. There's only 3 motives: money, sex, or revenge.
Kenda is back with an all-new season.
If you kill, I will find you.
Lieutenant Joe Kenda is the homicide hunter. All new.
Wednesdays at 10, only on Investigation Discovery.
Coming in at my number one spot is something that I want to fully explore a little more in a general sense over on GeekCast Radio. It is a true crime television show. It is Homicide Hunter with Lieutenant Joe Kenda and other true crime TV. Because like I said earlier in this podcast, folks, I don't watch TV the way I used to. I don't do appointment television anymore, and like you've said, some of the comedies nowadays, I just can't stand them. So I turned to true crime a number of years ago, and I've been watching true crime since I was a kid because America's Most Wanted and other things, and you got Forensic Files and all this and all that, and Medical Detectives and New Detectives and whatever else. The thing about Homicide Hunter that I loved and that I kind of gravitated towards when I started watching Investigation Discovery was that it was about one cop from one city, and it dealt with his cases and how he dealt with being a police officer and how much he enjoyed the job, even though obviously it's a very stressful and very emotional thing and whatever else. And I only find this ironic now. Lieutenant Joe Kenda got hired by the Colorado Springs Police Department in March of 1973. His career ran from March of 73 to August of 96. So for 23 and a half years, the man was a police officer. He rose through the ranks. He eventually became the lieutenant, and he was the guy in charge of things. I've listened to both his audiobooks. I just really enjoy, the presentation that they did with this true crime show. And I like other true crime shows that I will talk about much, much later on GeekCast Radio. But yeah, that's probably my most literally, I fall asleep to this guy every night. If the sleeping pills don't get me, his voice will put me to sleep. And that's not a bad thing. I'm not saying that because I'm saying that because the man is interesting, and I've heard his first book, I Will Find You. I've had it for years, since it first came out a few years ago. I've listened to this thing so many times. You want to talk about something that is re-listened to or rewatched or whatever. I can start reciting the book as he's doing it. It's like Transformers the movie for me, but it's in true crime kind of thing. All right, folks, that's going to do it for our top 10 most rewatched live-action TV shows. At some point, we will get Optimus Solo on here, and we will do top 10, top 15, top 25, I don't know, for animated shows, because we can actually do 2 episodes with that. Like we've been saying, we can do animated shows and animated movies as 2 separate episodes. So there is that. Anything else you want to bring up, sir?
No, I think that's it.
All right. Thank you for joining us here inside the studio. If you'd like to get in contact with us and leave feedback for the show here at Studio 2009, there are several ways to do so. Visit the website, geekcastradio.com, where you can listen to and comment on all of our content. Send any email to feedback@geekcastradio.com. Maybe send us an email with your top 10 most rewatched television shows. Here are all the ways you can listen to us nowadays: Apple and Google Podcasts. Leave us reviews, please. Spotify and any other podcatching client you choose to use. Follow us on Twitter at GeekCast Radio for the network, at It's Studio 2009 for the show. I am at TFG1Mike. What are your Twitters?
At SCP21 and at Steve Phillips VO.
Become a fan on Facebook. Go to facebook.com/GeekCast Radio Network. You can also check out Studio 2009 Podcast over there as well. Join us next time when we will be doing something. I believe it's going to be a podcast approach, only if I can get a hold of the guest that I'm trying to get a hold of for us. For now, I am TFG1Mike with
Steve Megatron.
You'll hear us back in the studio soon.